What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about why I am getting Gotham Knights. Now, this is my preview series where I take a look at an upcoming game and talk about whether I'm getting it, not getting it, or am somewhere in between. And there was never any doubt, really, right, when it came to Gotham Knights. Now, there's been quite the debate around this game ever since it was announced at DC Fandom 2020. Did they have to kill Batman? Is he actually still dead? Going with these Knights, and then just, I guess, looking at the gameplay, looking at the story, can Warner Bros. Games Montreal or WB Montreal, can they actually nail this? They haven't released a game since Arkham Origins in 9 years. It's been 9 years, and they've had a couple games that were in the works. They were all canceled, and then this is the game that we end up getting. Is this the right game? Well, all right, kind of cop-out thing, right? Like, why am I getting this game? I just kind of am. There was never really any doubt ever since it was announced, back when we thought it was like a Batman Arkham Legacy, but even when they announced it at DC Fandom 2020, it was like, all right, really no matter which way this game goes, whether it's for content purposes or to support the DC brand or whatever excuse or whatever you want to say, I mean, obviously I'm going to get the game, all right? But factually, since the beginning, I have held, I would say, an above average view of this game. I've said this kind of time and time again. I think where this game will end up lying is it's just going to be a solid game. I don't think anything in this game is going to necessarily be amazing. I don't think this game is going to move the meter of like the gaming industry, is going to kind of like revolutionize anything in maybe some of the ways that the Arkham games did. At the same time, though, I don't think this game is going to be bad. I really, really don't. I feel like the story can be pretty darn solid. The more we see from the story, obviously the decision to keep Batman dead, or if they're going to bring him back, or if he's a talent, or if this was kind of all like a red herring, right? Like that's going to loom over the story for sure. There's no doubt about it. But I do think what we've seen with the Court of Owls and the more, I guess, leaning detective story-wise with this game, I really do feel like the story is going to be rather okay. I think the Court of Owls are a perfect villain, a villain that we haven't seen in this medium before, and I think they can tell a pretty solid story. So I'm really not all that worried about the story. I guess what I am interested in, slash, I guess it's more of like a maybe I'm worried, maybe they can nail it, is the Knights themselves. Can they make them likable? Can they make them each individuals? Can they, because we've talked about the whole, swapping. You can swap these characters, and when you do story missions, how are they going to do the character arcs for these Knights? I've suggested things, and I think it's going to end up happening, where we're going to see them all together at like the Belfry, and they're going to be talking to each other, and we're going to kind of be able to experience their relationship with each other. But that's going to be a big part of the game. In fact, that could really be the biggest part, right? If you nail the Court of Owls, if you make them kind of like scary, you make them everywhere, right? The idea that they always know what's going on. I don't think that's all that difficult to do, and it should be one of the easier things to do. I would say, these Knights, the voice acting has been very, very spotty. At times it's been fine, at times it's not been fine, and that's kind of what I'm most worried about. Can we make it so even if I play the whole game through as Batgirl, can I still feel like Nightwing is evolving as a character? If I'm playing the whole game as Red Hood, can Robin still feel like a good character, right? To me, that's going to be a big part, because if I'm just playing kind of mindlessly, I mean, then it goes to the gameplay. We'll talk about the gameplay in a second, but if you're playing mindlessly and you don't care what's going on with these characters, that's fine as long as the gameplay holds up, but still, I don't know, how much of a game do you have there? You have just the gameplay elements, you have what villain side missions you're doing in Court of Owls, but you don't have the actual story. That's a big part of the game to drop. Then you go to the gameplay. Now, for me, the gameplay has always looked pretty darn okay. I do think it's going to depend on who you play as. Batgirl has always jumped out to me. Maybe it's because it's more like a Batman thing, but Batgirl has always jumped out to me. Robin looks like a lot of fun, even in the limited time that we've actually seen him move around. I don't know how much I'll play as Red Hood and Nightwing on my first playthrough. Maybe I won't play as them at all, and maybe I'll do a full playthrough with them later. But the gameplay, I do think overall is going to be pretty solid. I know like someone like a Red Hood, right, moves very, very slow. Maybe it doesn't look all that great watching. At least that's what I've seen other people say. I'm not a huge fan of how, Red Hood specifically moves. I'm not a big fan of some of the movement in characters getting from one location to the next, right, kind of their special abilities. Robin can teleport. Red Hood kind of jumps on like, thin air, right? I'm not a huge fan of a lot of those. I think for somebody like Robin, it could be a little bit more game-breaking than others, but we'll see. We'll see in the moment How does the fluidness work in this game? How fluid are these characters in moving around? The world is gigantic, it seems. The world actually does look really cool. I like the idea of the Gotham that they've built. I like, they've talked a lot about the history of how long Gotham has been around and, kind of building layers on top, like literally like stacking buildings on top of each other. I like it. I do think this is going to be one of the more detailed and obviously the biggest Gotham, an open world kind of, Batman, DC kind of game we've ever gotten. So that could, again, in a small way, maybe people aren't really expecting it, surprise. And another thing with that, right? Another reason why I do think this game is going to overall do better than maybe some people think is because of that co-op. And I've been saying this for a long time. Co-op really makes everything better. As long as the servers hold, as long as there's not stupid like dropping mid-game, right? If you're playing this game with a friend, you're going around, you're beating up bad guys, you're doing story missions, you're doing side missions together, I do think, as long as it holds up, I do think that's going to be a lot of fun to do. Whether the gameplay is perfect or whether it's a 6 out of 10 kind of score, I do think playing it with somebody else is going to make it more fun. And that's something that this game has over a lot of other games, and we haven't really experienced a game like this in the DC world right before. So I really do think the cooperative elements, now even though on my first playthrough, I don't really even necessarily want to play it with other people. I kind of want to play it through once on my own, and then, other times for sure play with other people, but maybe the first time just play it single player. That's because I'm more of like the story kind of guy. I want to see the story. I want to see the characters. But maybe other people aren't like that. And there's lots of different people out there in the world that are going to play this game. So overall, I think it's going to be a solid package. A lot rests on the story. A lot rests on these knights and the voice acting of these knights. A lot rests on who are the villains in this game besides. So we have Court of Owls, right? You have the secondary villains. But we only have 3 side villains, right? Mr. Freeze, Clayface, and Harley. We've been accustomed, specifically in Arkham Knight, to a lot of villains. More than double 3, right? So hopefully when this game comes out, are there 8 side villains and they have their own quests that go along with them? Are there 10? Are there 5? Where does that lie? Because where it does end up falling, that's going to be, I think, a big deal. I don't think people are going to be very happy if they play this game and there's 5 side villains in the entire thing. That's, in my opinion, from what I've seen on the internet, that's going to make a whole lot of people, including myself, either disappointed, angry, mad, whatever you want to say. It's going to upset some people. So, look, this is not, I think, going to be a perfect game. This is not viewed as a perfect game whatsoever. Obviously, it's a game I've been very passionate about since the beginning. There's a connection with my channel and this game. I'm gonna give it chances, and I've been saying that as well since the beginning. I'm gonna give this game a chance. I don't think a game without Batman is immediately like a bad thing. I think you can make a game focused on other characters in the world of Batman without him, and we're gonna see how it goes. But with that being said, if things obviously go south, I'm very, very willing to call them out, and I will be doing so. So let me know what you guys think. You get in the game day one, maybe you're waiting for a sale. Let me know what's the situation for you guys. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.